there's a spot in London called Il Pompero. I'll give that a shout, too. It's an incredible Italian spot. We went last year after our game that we did between the Jaguars and the Eagles last year, so we made the reservation again.
Nice.
And so we went out for a nice Italian meal. Irv was there, Michael Irvin, and the whole gang was there. And Michael had his iPad up watching the Jets and the Cowboys, or it was beginning to lose some power, so Kurt put it on his phone.
Okay.
I was following along, following fantasy and all that stuff all at the same time. There was tons of games all at the same time. I was following along, and the app that I had was a play before what Michael and Kurt were.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So when the Cowboys went for it on 4th and short, deep in the Jets' end, right before half, and didn't make it, I knew they weren't going to make it before Irv saw it.
Okay.
So Irv saw it and got so upset, he said at that point in time to the whole table, that included Gail, Steve Marich's wife, Gail, my buddy, aforementioned Susie's friends, Deborah, and her husband, Tom, and me and Susie. He excused himself to say he needed to watch the rest of this game in solitude because of what was about to happen. Is Irv on the phone line right now? Is Irv on the phone line right now? Is this an accurate portrayal so far, Irv?
Hey, look at
Hold on. Here's something you don't know. Here's something you don't know. I'm breaking news to you here. Okay? You were getting ready to go, and at that point in time, as you were letting everybody know that you needed to be by yourself because you would not be sociable enough to have a meal with it. Okay, right. I saw on my phone that Darnold connected with Robbie Anderson on this.
Darnold, play action, drops the throw, steps up, floats a bomb up the right seam, looking for Anderson. He's got it at the 50, at the 40. They're not going to catch him. He's going to go the distance. 10, 5, touchdown. Sam Darnold dials it up to Robbie Anderson. 92 yards.
Oh yeah, my trolling of Irv has production value now. So I said to Kurt, I'm like, Kurt, watch this. Irv, stick around, one more play, just to watch that. And then it was good night, London.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Rich was like, "Oh, don't go out there, guys. Shut up. I'm out of here. I'm out of here right now." I had to leave. No, what we did, Rich, remember, because our dinner was at 8:30.
Yep.
The Cowboys came on at 9:25 London time.
Yep.
9:25. So I first came in like, "Listen, guys, we're going to do this an hour. I got to watch this game by myself." No, Michael, you got to stay. We got to stay. So what I did, I turned my iPad off and plugged it in. And we were watching the other games on Kurt's iPad.
That's right.
We were waiting on the Cowboys game to come on and put back on the iPad so we could have the power, right? And then, of course, it came back on, and we were a play behind. And I was saying, I got to go. Then when they got stopped, I was like, I got to get out of here. That's it. So I stood up, and I was looking around. I look at Rich with a smirk on his face, everything. I didn't know that Robbie had just went 90 damn yards. And then the next thing you know, as soon as I stood up, I looked at my pad. He goes 90 yards. I kind of just grabbed my stuff and walked out. I'm out of here.
See ya. See ya.
I didn't even know this. I got back. When I got back to Dallas, people said, "Oh man, we saw you watching on the iPad." I saw me where? Then I said, Rich must have shot something. Somebody must. How did you see us at dinner watching on the iPad?
Oh no, I tweeted something out. I tweeted something out, Irv. Like as soon as you,
that's what it was.
As you left, as you were heading out into that London fog that night. Oh yeah, I tweeted out. Let me see if I can find this on the spot here. I tweeted out, just to be accurate, that here it is. Here it goes. Not much better than watching your team stop Zeke and Dak in short yardage, only to have Robbie Anderson go 92 for a score right after, all with Michael Irvin watching with you. And then I had the Leo DiCaprio champagne glass raised GIF from The Great Gatsby, which is one of my new favorites, Mike. And then I tweeted out to you after the Jets win, me GIF smiling at the camera from Game Day Morning a couple of weeks ago. Did you see that one I sent to you?
Yeah, I saw that one, and I saw you tweet about Adam Gates. Okay, you haven't done anything, but this is a big one for you. We appreciate this win at least.
Okay.
And that's the truth. That's what, and that's why I don't think these guys understand. You can't think you're good. You can't think you're good when you are going to be a measuring stick for teams like the Jets and all of these guys. And I had been going on radio shows talking about, the Jets are exactly what the Cowboys need. Whenever something's ailing, you take 2 Jets and call them in the morning. That's what the doctor tell you. Well, I guess they must have heard some of that and said, we're going to make sure that we're not the cure, but we are the sickness. And that's exactly what they did.
Michael Irvin here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, so now that you gave the backhanded compliment of the Jets being one of those teams that just rises up to beat Goliath, that is now 3-3, Michael, what ails the Dallas Cowboys? What gives? Was it just playing competition that was, if you will, beneath them and crushing them in the first 3 weeks? Have the opponents that they faced last 3 weeks figured anything out, do you think?
Well, the problem with Cowboys with Dallas right now is that they've lost these 3 games, and they've lost them 3 different ways. It's one thing to lose a game one way, and if you lose back-to-back games with that same issue or that same sickness or that same dis-ease that we call disease, the same disease. But when you have a few diseases ravaging your body, it's hard to cure them. And they lost these games 3 different ways, and that worries me. Now with the injuries, and these injuries are in some very key spots. Of course, Amari Cooper being hurt, and then both tackles. You saw what they just did, Rich. They ran a bare front. They put somebody over the center and both guards, and then they shot, because I was looking at film, they shot Jamal in the A-gap. They were isolating those 2 tackles. When they put in that bare front, they're making sure that the guard and the center are covered, and they get to isolate the tackles, and then they start Jamal still up the middle, and they had no answer for it. That's what I'm concerned about right there, that every team is going to see that, and they'll try to pull that off for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you, Irv. You mentioned all the injuries. They're just a different team without Tyron Smith. Would you agree with that? And that goes back to when Zeke was suspended. If you remember, Smith was out that day in Atlanta, and then it was a total turnstile behind Dak. I'm wondering if this team, if that's the answer. Is it just as simple as people getting healthier?
Well, getting healthy will help a big deal, no doubt. But you're right about Tyron Smith. He's a difference maker, and I always told people, like as great as Larry Allen is and everything, everything was different without Eric Williams, because he set the tone. He kept everybody accountable on that offensive line, and Tyron has that same cachet. And yeah, without him, it makes it's a different team. And absolutely, I'm worried about whether this game this week. I mean, we always talk about a must win, and it's too early to say must win. Not in this case. This is a crucial game against the Philadelphia Eagles, and it can hurt you in a big way, but it can also right the ship, because you win this game, you're right back in first place where you want to be.
Right, and the Eagles are the only competition they have in this division, with the Giants and the Redskins being in the state that they're in. So that's why this game is so huge, and you don't want Philly taking one in Dallas as well, certainly on Sunday Night Football. And certainly with everything that's going on in the griddle there in Dallas, do you think, even though Jerry has been so strong in professing it's not the case, and same thing with Steven, that this is a big moment, potentially even dangerous one for Jason Garrett? Michael.
Well, the thing is here, this has to be a horrific game. Just totally horrific for anything to happen on that front, on the Jason Garrett front. Because even after you come out of this game, you're still 1 game behind first place. If you come out on the losing end, you're still 1 game behind first place. And to throw a disruption into all of it, when you put out so much money and betting on this season and you still will have a chance. I just don't think Jerry would do that. Now, if this is a 52-3 game, then all of that may change. All of that may change, and it may just be a different situation where things have to get disrupted and something else has to happen.
And then do you think that Kellen Moore's offense has been figured out? Do you think that's the case?
After losing the way they lost in New Orleans, right? and I put that more on the Dome than on the team. You know, just the jump that they would get on the defensive line, and they dominated that offensive line. And then to come back, and, okay, you go against Green Bay, and now you're not even able to move the ball against Green Bay. I mean, the Green Bay just – and then you got Aaron Rodgers on the other side. So I am worried. I am worried. Not that maybe they figured out Kellen Moore's offense or figured out how he's calling plays, that they've had a few situations in there that have gone poorly for them. And really, my issue with it is the mental part of it. All right, I know you have talent. We know you got talent. Do you know how to handle the position of expectation? You know, it's one thing when you're trying to climb a mountain to get to a place. It's another thing when you have to stand on the mountain and try to knock everybody down that's climbing it. And I don't think the Cowboys have that mentality yet. And they need to get that mentality. They're going because everybody's going to look at them. At least they were looking at them early on. Yeah, you don't think the Saints looked at that as a huge game? They looked at that was a huge game for them, especially with all the fans. Cowboy fans in the New Orleans area. The Jets, that was you know how many Cowboy fans, Rich, I'm sorry to tell you, there are a lot of Cowboy fans out in New York. They're everywhere.
No, I know.
They're just everywhere.
I know.
They're everywhere. You see, so they have to match the hunger and the intensity of these teams, and they are not prepared to do that, and they are not doing that.
So in terms of the other story of the weekend that certainly got even hotter on Monday Night Football, I've got Mike Pereira joining me in hour number 3, former head of NFL refs. The 4 calls, one that was a non-call and a pass interference, and 3 other ones that were kind of blown. Jerry Jones actually on his radio show was asked about. I want to play that for you, Michael. Go for it.
Anytime you try to create complete consistency and complete accuracy, just call it right. You've missed the point of interpreting. We've got hands to the face. Well, but we also call hands to the neck. So what are you trying to accomplish?
So, I mean, he's kind of sounding like a fan here, but he's a very important one when it comes to officiating. What do you think's going on here, Mike?
Rich, I don't know. I really don't know. I listen, I'm no ref, and I've always respected what jobs that these guys have to do. But when I watched that game last night, and I watched every bit of that game, when I saw it the first time, I was like, whoa, his hand's not on his face. Now, the offensive lineman, he kept his head back like he was being driven back, like his head was being driven back. You know, maybe that's like the new floss thing. When somebody gets you and they're driving your back, you toss your head back. But it worked. It worked both times, and neither time did he have a hand to a face mask. I just thought that was incredibly just scary to watch. All of that work those guys are putting in trying to win that game, to lose that game on those 2 calls, and I know you will say a lot of things, but in that locker room, they're saying we lost that game on those 2 calls. And if I was in that locker room, I would be saying the same thing, and that's just crazy when you think about it. Something has to be done about that. And you cannot make those kinds of mistakes and then make them back-to-back and cause games like that.
Well, and again, we're going to have Mike Pereira on in hour number 3 because it sounds like Jerry is alluding to some style that the officiating department is attempting to put into place for consistency and accuracy that he believes is clearly not working out. But that'll be later on. Hey, Irv, before I let you go.
You were in that room. You heard some of the things that some of the coaches. I don't know if you put them on the spot.
No. I mentioned at the top of the show that Bruce Arians has a coach on his staff specifically to let him know when to challenge and exactly how to challenge with what words.
And that's wording and everything.
And that's not working out. And he believes that he thinks that there, along with other coaches, that there has been some sort of change mid-season on the way these pass interference calls have been reviewed.
Wait, Rich. Ain't no he thinks. He knows. It's the same reason the network hires us. They hire the people that have been in the locker room so you can talk to the people that are in the locker room and bring the information to the desk or to the air. You see what I mean? So he hired a rep that has been in the room so that he can go and get information from the people that are in the room and bring it to him. Which is brilliant on his part. I don't know why everybody doesn't have it, but it's not working. So I see why now he's saying, I don't know why I did it. So he's getting the information from the ref what they are saying. So that's why he knows that this language is changing all the time, and they don't have any consistency on what's going on. That's exactly why he made those statements. And that's the case. That's a shame.
Before I let you go, Michael Irvin, I hope, again, I had my fun with you with the Jets beating the Cowboys. It was kind of tame in terms of a New Yorker delivering some sort of trolling in the Cowboys' direction. Certainly in comparison to my guest that I'm having on Thursday's program. Is there anything you want me to play for Stephen A. Smith when he joins this show on Thursday, Michael?
Oh, my God. I bet Stephen A. is trying to do every show right now. Now that the Cowboys have lost 3 in a row, he's number one on the Cowboy hate list. He's ready to go on everybody's air and talk. Not that he understands the specialty of going on your air, Rich.
Okay, Michael, thank you for that.
I'm surely understand that. But he wants to get all of it out and messing with those Cowboys. And Stephen A. is my boy, man. What I want you to tell him is tell him happy birthday. His birthday is up.
No, I know, and the gift that he received was, he said, from the Cowboys against the Jets. So that's all you're gonna take very high. I mean, it's a very high road, Michael. I'm very impressed.
That's all I gotta say too. That's all. Right now, Rich, that's all I can say. Do you not understand the situation we are in over here? That's all. Everybody is quiet. It's just quiet. The weather is not right in Dallas. Nothing is right. The air doesn't even breathe correctly anymore right here. I came all the way back from London to breathe this bad air. It's just going bad right now. And I tell you, if this is a horrible game Sunday, oh, my God, things will roll. They cannot lose to the Philadelphia Eagles in a bad way, let alone talk about losing at all.
All right, Michael, thanks for the call. By the way, just in case you're wondering, we picked up the check. We got the check for dinner.
That's right, Rich. I thought about that. I said, I ain't even funny or anything. I just voted.
He just got out. He dashed.
Hey, you should have picked up the check. We gave you a game.
Oh, I did.
So, hey, what is that? And that should be nothing. That's nothing compared. Hey,
it's all good.
If the Cowboys win, I'll buy the next 5 meals. If we go back up, I'll buy the next 5 meals.
Oh, fantastic. Hey, we got another game on a couple Sundays back in Wembley for the Jags and the Texans, Week 9. Great job. This past Sunday. It was a blast doing it with you, Mike.
Yeah, it was fun, buddy. I appreciate it. Rich, you do such a great job with it.
You too.
Man, we really is. It's a great time being there with the guys, man. I appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks for the call. Same. Love you too. That's Michael Irvin, at Michael Irvin 88.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.